right, guys, Shawn Ray here with another edition of Shawn Ray Unleashed from MuscularDevelopment.com TV. And we were talking about the countdown to the Mr. Olympia Championships coming up in 2 short weeks, the 52nd year of the Joe Weider Championships. And one guy in particular I cannot sit back and ignore. As we approach this competition, this young man will be 47 years old this year. And what he has done is nothing short of spectacular. This guy started out as a bantamweight, which is somewhere around 135 pounds, dripping wet. I had the pleasure of meeting Dexter the Blade Jackson before he was called the Blade, and I believe it was 1995. I was hosting the show for ESPN. It was the Junior Nationals, I believe, along with Joe Amato as my co-commentator. And Dexter was a guy just kind of working his way up through the ranks, and I blinked. And I was standing next to Dexter in the 1999 Mr. Olympia Championships, where I believe Dexter was somewhere around 7th or 8th place. I'm not sure, but I saw him in my rear view. Had the pleasure of competing with him in 2000 and 2001, which I retired, and my career was done after a 14-year run. And his was just beginning. And what a beginning it was, because he worked from the back of the pack and has competed in probably more contests than anyone, including Ronnie Coleman, and should he win the Mr. Olympia this year, will be the winningest pro bodybuilder of all time, of all bodybuilders in the world, in the history of professional bodybuilding. Dexter the Blade Jackson would potentially stand alone this September 17th in Las Vegas with a victory. Now, that said, he is tied with the greatest of all time, Ronnie Coleman, with 8 Olympia championships to his credit and a slew of victories. But Dexter has competed in more shows than anybody out there, on a higher level than anyone. It was only 2 years ago that I recognized Dexter Jackson as the Shawn Ray Lifetime Achievement Award recipient, and I had a lot of bodybuilders to choose from. He joined the company of Lee Haney and Rich Kaspari, and I chose Dexter Jackson because it just got too hard to ignore what he was doing, and he was not even 45 years old at that time. Dexter, just to give you some oversight, I'm not looking at notes. I didn't go out and do a history report on Dexter. I'm just talking off the cuff here. Dexter has won, I believe, won Mr. Olympia in 2008. Didn't just win it. He took it from the reigning and defending champion, Jay Cutler. And his speech, I remember like it was yesterday. He said, you know, this Sandow Trophy represents a body of hard work, in a sense. I'm paraphrasing. But it represents all those that came before me that didn't win. Flex Wheeler, Shawn Ray, Kevin Levrone, Labrada. I mean, this is for you guys. And I thought, wow, you know, what a testimony from a guy in his glory, acknowledging those that, you know, fought the good fight and helped pave the way for a little guy like Dexter to come in and do what he did. And he validated himself. But more importantly, it is his longevity in the sport of bodybuilding that is just shockingly amazing. He's never taken time off. He never shied away from competition. He is a bodybuilder's bodybuilder. He eats, sleeps, and breathes it. Despite saying the things that he hates about it, it has afforded him a lifestyle to raise his children, become an NPC contest promoter, create the Team Blade, helping others, giving back, having a residence in Florida and California, training with the guru in Charles Glass, one of the best trainers in the business. And yet somehow he has won a competition literally on every continent. I mean, he just came back from winning the Arnold Classic in South Africa. He's won over at the Arnold Classic in Spain. He won a pro show in Dubai. He's won Arnold Classic over in Australia. He's won 5 Arnold Classics right here in Columbus, Ohio, surpassing Flex Wheeler to stand alone as the winningest Arnold Classic champion to date. And he put all those trophies right there next to all the other things that he's won. He became a professional by winning the North America Championships. He's won over in Germany. I've had the good pleasure of watching him in victory and in defeat. He was second runner-up, or first runner-up last year to Phil Heath, and a whisker away from winning his second Mr. Olympia. Arguably could have. There are enough people out there that had Dexter the Blade winning, including himself, and I certainly wouldn't have disagreed had he won. Now, that being said, if anyone's out there watching with 2 pair of eyes, have seen what Dexter looks like today, It is going to be a very tough row to hoe for the five-time defending champion Phil Heath. And really, in this conversation, in this Mr. Olympia, there's only two guys to really talk about, based on what I saw of Dexter Jackson a week ago guest posing and what I've seen from Phil Heath. It looks to be a repeat of last year. And Dexter will go down 10 years into retirement as arguably one of the greatest bodybuilders ever to live for a number of reasons. Not because his physique is ideal and pleasing and has all the embodiments of Mr. Olympia, but you have to consider how long he's been doing this. 1999. I retired in 2001. So he had 99, 2000, and 2001. He had 3 Olympias under his belt when I retired. It is 2016, and I've been retired from that stage for 15 full years in 2 weeks' time. So we'll add those 3 competitions with the 15 years of my retirement. We're talking like 18 Mr. Olympia contests. It's stupid. It's ridiculous to do it at that level for that long. The last time a guy was first runner-up in the Mr. Olympia that was 46 years old was in 1985. I was 20 years old, and I just was winning the IFBB World Championships, and Albert Beckles was the featured guest poser in December of 85, coming off of his first runner-up to Lee Haney. We haven't seen that type of development and consistency in anyone since Dexter the Blade Jackson. And he will get his comeuppance and accolades, I'm sure, in retirement when we look back at what he's done. A lot of people don't get the respect or the appreciation until they're done and gone. I've heard more about winning the Mr. Olympia title when I was competing in retirement than when I was actually trying to win the title. So I know what that's like. But coming into this contest, make no mistake about it, all eyes will be on Dexter the Blade Jackson. He'll be rivaled with some side plots, with Phil Heath going for number 6, the return of the Maryland Muscle Machine at 52 years old. Big Ramy, will he show up? Rolly Winkler putting on all that mass. I mean, is this the last time we're going to see Victor the Dominator? There's a lot of sub-stories going into this show. But for me, at the tender age of 50 years old, I'll be 51 next week, a week from today. Right there with Flex Wheeler and Kevin Levrone. 10 years behind Vince Taylor. We're all going to be sitting in that audience marveling at what Dexter the Blade Jackson is doing in our lifetime in front of our eyes and respecting it, because I don't think he's heard it enough from the right people, that because he's in the throes of the business, he's in the middle of what, he's still winning. So he's not even thinking about retirement. He's healthy, never been injured. He has made progress beyond leaps and bounds. There's things that can be fixed. His calves have never been world class. His hamstrings have never popped out from the rear the way we would like them to. There are some things that, he's kind of got the long torso, but Dexter Jackson, against who he's up against, has done the best with what he has and has beaten the best in the world. And I think right now, today, there's no one that he hasn't beaten, which says a lot. In his term, he's beaten everyone that he's competing against. And yet, he's coming off of being number 2 in the world and being the first ever Arnold Classic South African champion. I cannot tell him enough how grateful we are to see and watch and bear witness to his work. And I'll be sitting there right next to the judges, admiring, respecting, and appreciating what he brings. Come victory or defeat, Dexter the Blade Jackson. We thought Ronnie Coleman was the 8th wonder of the world. You, my friend, are the 8th wonder of the world. All eyes on you. For MuscularDevelopment.com Unleashed, I'm Shawn Ray.